All right, UK solicitor Olufemi Aina joins us now in the studio to bring us up to speed with understanding some of these issues. Good morning.
Yes,
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Yes.
Well, according to the second schedule of the Constitution, 1999 Constitution, he actually talks about the issue of security, which is like exclusive preserve of the federal government. Now, in the eyes of the law,
Yes.
what is your interpretation of
The
this? Make us understand.
Well,
Amotekun is illegal.
Well, I'm very concerned. Number one, the Attorney General is partly right because he cited
partly right.
Okay. But at the same time, we have to be very careful the way we interpret the Constitution. Okay. One of the benefits of a written Constitution is flexibility, and you don't interpret the Constitution in a very rigid manner. However, when you are taking a decision such as this, declaring a paramilitary organization as illegal, you have to be very, very careful. You be careful in the sense that you need to look at everything in the round. It's just like you are in an organization. You are trying to discipline someone for coming late. Do you just look at that day? You first of all look at the attendance record. By so doing, that means you are looking at everything holistically.
Okay.
Thank you. Now, the problem with the Attorney General Constitution, he has cherry-picked that aspect of the Constitution, which I'm not saying is wrong, but it's not limited to that. When it comes to maintenance of law and order, it is not the exclusive preserve of the federal government. Okay. And in any event, and I'll give you a sub-point to that, how come they give the security votes to all the governors? That is one fundamental question. How come the governors are the chief security officers of the state?
Okay.
And if you make somebody to be the chief security officers of the state, is it not the case that within the ambit of what you have given to him, he can say, look, this is, I'm going to set up this, there's going to be roadblock this, anybody coming to my state, they need this and that. And that is where I have a problem. And the Attorney General, if you look at the statement, he said the defense of of Nigeria is only the responsibility of the Navy, Army, and what have you. Yeah. Now, I have an issue with that because, number one, is it their exclusive preserve? Permits me to, let's look at section 24 that gives responsibility to us as a citizen. And it shall be the duty of every citizen of Nigeria to abide by this constitution, respect its ideas and its institution, the national flag, national anthem, what have you. B, help to enhance the power, prestige, and good name of Nigeria. Defend Nigeria as a citizen and render such national service as may be required. Then C, respect the dignity of other citizens, the right and legitimate interests of others, and live in unity and harmony and in the spirit of common brotherhood. But there's one important point. Make positive and useful contribution to the advancement, progress, and well-being of the community where you reside. That could involve you sharing intelligence with the police. Yeah. That could involve you apprehending criminals. And it goes on and say, whereas render assistance to appropriate and lawful agencies in the maintenance of law and order. So it is not for the Army, Navy alone. And the problem I have is this. The Attorney General is now coming up saying this is illegal. Yeah. Now, where has he been when all these states started setting up security outfits here and here? And I can tell you authoritatively that 23 states in Nigeria has one security
outfit or the other. All right, the discussion is certainly going to continue somehow. Olufemi Aina, thank you so much for your insight into all of this. Thank you.
All right, UK solicitor Olufemi Aina is here with us to give us more perspective on this. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast. Now, the issue is that the governors actually met. There was a security summit, and then they went ahead to meet with the National Security Advisor, who also gave them a go-ahead. And now the question is if this is really about the legality or there is more to it, because we also have Hisbah in the Northwest.
Yes, it goes beyond Hisbah. There are more than that. You even have some, it's Anambra Marshal. You have the civilian JF, all of the JTF, all of them. So it's a busload.
Yes.
And now, you are now saying this is illegal. Where were you when all this happened? I know they are not regional outfit per se. But my major concern is this. You see, he has declared this illegal. That is the law officer of the Federation. We have to respect that. But my major concern is, are the police going to work with these people now? With an organization, Invited Command, that has been declared as an illegal paramilitary organization. So we have an issue there. But the most important, the way forward is this. I know some people are saying we are going to approach the court, this and that. You see, people need to be very careful about this idea of going to court. The court is supposed to be the last resort.
But can they approach the court since this was not is not backed by the Constitution?
Well, I take your point, because you can approach the court to seek an interpretation. Because what he is saying is that it's the exclusive preserve of the federal government, this and that. So you can approach the court to seek an interpretation. That's not a problem. But the court is supposed to be the last resort. The problem we have here, if the Attorney General is saying this, the onus is on the promoters of Amotekun now to see how they can put this on a very solid legal backing. And one thing which is very important, one of the governors is a senior advocate of Nigeria. This must have been thought out one way or the other. And they must have seen that the federal government is not going to be in support, because, you know, I think the president called some of the governors, and thereafter there was a meeting between Governor Fayemi and the Inspector General of Police. But one thing which I want the Attorney General to know, the maintenance of peace, law, and order is not the exclusive preserve of the federal government. We have the state government who have a responsibility to ensure that within their state there is peace, there is unity, and what have you. And they should look, if you look at Section 15, says the motto of the federal government of Nigeria shall be unity, peace, and progress. So setting up Amotekun is still within the fundamental obligations of government. And the Section 4.1, which is talking about that, look, the primary responsibility of government should be...
So how can the governors put this on a legal backing?
I'm very glad you asked me that question. If you listen to, we have Southwest senators in the House. There is a bill called the Southwest Development Commission Bill. And what the senators from the Southwest, what they are saying, if you listen to the senator from Ondo State Boniface, what he's saying is that, look, they didn't consult us before they started this Amotekun, whatever. That if not, because there is a bill which has scaled through the first reading, then if you have that bill, if it becomes law, you can say, look, the Southwest governors can come together and set up this. So this argument, whether any issue relating to defense and should be the exclusive preserve of the National Assembly to make such law, that can take care of that. And don't forget, some of the speakers, they said, look, we are going to put this on a legal backing. They've started discussing it. So they need to reach out, because by the time you get to court now, we don't even know when the court will rule. Then we have about 120 vehicles here and there, motorcycles.
What happens to
them?
You know,
so they need to sit down. I think there should be a roundtable discussion with the Attorney General so as to determine the way forward.
All right. Olufemi Aina, thank you for your time on TVC Breakfast.
All right, UK Solicitor Olufemi Aina joins us now to give us some insight into this. Good morning.
Yes,
and great to have you join us.
Yes, thank you.
Now, if we have to, how relevant, let me say, is the doctrine of necessity when it comes to, you know, doing some of these things that may not necessarily be in the Constitution, but it is beneficial or necessary exactly to the society?
Even that doesn't come into play here. In the sense that, you see, if there's a lacuna in the law, and something you didn't have to say suddenly crop up, then the doctrine of necessity can come in. But I do take your point that look, if the Attorney General is saying the Constitution doesn't allow this, then we can hang under the umbrella of the doctrine of necessity and say because of what is going on. But there's an issue there. Ancillary to the power, the responsibility of government, under Section 14.2b, that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. And what is government? Government is an institution. It's a structure for meeting human needs. Security is part of human needs as well. A government is a collection of people when they come to and say, look, this is the governor, this is it. That's when you talk about a government. And now, what this Amotekun is all about is within the ambit of this.
Of what the government can do.
That the primary responsibility is the security of the people. And even communities, one way or the other, from time immemorial, before the Attorney General himself was born, have one form of local protection, sort of. That's why even in Yoruba land, they have this and that, where the community people have a night guard for your own personal security. You can have somebody there. So my own worry is this. Whatever the case, this is the level of insecurity in this country is terrible. And any initiative that will help to address those situations, I think all of us should embrace that. And it will be wrong to hide under the Constitution and say this and that and what have you. And in any event, there is one particular point. If what he's saying is right, I know it's picking the Constitution, which is, I'm not saying legally, is wrong. But the point is this. How come we give security votes to the governor? How come the governors are the chief security officer of the states? How come that 23 states in Nigeria have one security outfit or the other? You can't just wake up in the morning today and say the sun is no longer at the center of the planet, since it has been there all along.
All right, the governors, the 6 state governors are to meet sometime later. I wonder what you think should be at the front burner of their discussion.
Yes.
What should be the focus for them? Because some persons had concerns while they were constituting this Amotekun with regards to the whole procedure. So what should be the issues they should be addressing besides the legality of the outfit? Well,
number one, there are so many fundamental issues here. I know the Dr. Thomases will come to town and say, look, this is state policing. This is another way of dividing Nigeria when Nigeria is supposed to be one entity. Yes, maybe the promoters of this Amotekun, they didn't envisage all this initially. But now that they are going to meet, then they need to go back to the drawing board and look at things and holistically that, look, what is this? How do we allay the fears of all these people, these Dr. Thomases and what have you? And also, if the Attorney General is saying this and that, how do we address? You see, these are not insurmountable issues. They are issues that can be trashed out if we sit down, if there has been proper consultation initially. But having said that, I'm not saying they have to consult the Attorney General before they seek protection of their community or their area. That is not necessary. But what I'm saying is that with the way things have developed, with the level of criticism here and there, these governors, when they meet, they need to sit down, work out the operational modalities. Although I have a serious concern about these Amotekun people, they need to know that, look, some of these criminals which they are trying to apprehend, they have rights in law. And at the same time, one thing that is very fundamental is one thing to set up Amotekun. And in fighting crime, we need now to sit down and fight the causes of crime. Children not having opportunity after university education, just gathering somewhere and be planning how to attack one community or the other.
That's a source in the first place. Thank you so much for your insight into this, Olufemi Aina. Thank you.
Thank you
so much.